Okay, let's see how we can create custom layouts with our Bootstrap form. Let's get back to our code, and what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all these items here. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of the form, and instead of logging to admin, I'm going to call this as sign up to get started. Okay, and receive weekly updates. Okay, so another thing is I'm going to change this to call LG6, so that gives us more room to add more layouts. Okay, so let's add in our form tag, and inside this I'm going to add in div row, and here we are going to add our form layout, div dot call lg6. Inside this I'm going to call it as input, type is text, and this is going to be name is u underscore name, and we're going to give a placeholder. I'm going to call this as first name. Okay, so this is going to be f name. Okay, and let's give a class for this. I'm going to give a class, call this as form control, and if I get back to the browser, let's hit refresh. So we have our first name over there, and I want it to be a little bit smaller. So what we can do is we can just copy this entire thing again and just add in -sm. That's going to make the form look a bit much smaller over here. Okay, so we have the first name, and now we need to add the last name. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it over here, and this is going to be L name. Now this is going to be last name, and that's it. Okay, save that. Let's get back to our browser. Let's hit refresh. Okay, we have the first name, we have the last name. The next thing what we need is a email field. So let's get back to our code. Now another thing is that we need some spacing. So I'm going to call this as margin bottom -3. Okay, so that's going to give some spacing. Okay, that gives us some spacing. Let's add in our email field. So after this row, I'm going to add another div row dot mb3. Okay, and inside this I'm going to say input type is email, the name is e underscore mail, and I give a placeholder. I'm going to call this as email ID, and I give a class. I'm going to call this as form control and form control sm. Let's copy that, let's paste it over here. Let's get back to our browser. Let's hit refresh. Okay, so we have this one. As you can see, it's kind of taking too much of space. Let's see what's wrong. Okay, you did not add the column, so I'm just gonna cut this. I'm gonna say div dot call and paste it. Let's get back to our browser. Let's hit refresh. Okay, so that gives us the perfect sizing. The next one which I need is a huge sign up button over here. So I'm gonna get back to this one. I'm gonna add another row. So div dot row mb3, and I'm gonna say input type is button. So give a class btn sm btn primary. Okay, and let's give a value for this. I'm going to give a value, call this as sign up for newsletters. Okay, save this. Let's get back over here. Let's hit refresh. So we have the button, but again we forgot to add the call. So I'm just going to cut this. So div dot call. Okay, let's paste it, and now we can hit refresh. Now you can see that we have the button, but I want the button to be a full width button. So let's see how we can do that. I'm going to get back to my code, and here I'm going to call this as btn block. Save that. Let's get back over here. Let's hit refresh. Okay, so we have the full block button, and if you want to make the button much bigger, so what we can do is we can call this as button lg. That's going to make the button look much more bigger over here.